Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I am back from my trip, so I thought I would sit down and film a try to get ready with me, just talking about the trip and stuff like that, filling you guys in on what has happened over the past 3 months. So let's just jump right in and get started, and I'll fill you guys in as we go. So I'm just going to start with priming my face with the Smashbox primerizer. Oh, I'm just going to clip my hair back to begin with because it's in my face. Let's start with that. As you can see, my hair is a lot shorter than it was when I left. But there's a story about that a little bit later. So I'll let you know about that in a little bit, but as you can see, my hair is a lot shorter. So I don't know if all of you have watched my last video. I don't even know what my last video on this channel was. But if you didn't know, I haven't had videos for the past 3 months because I was living on a boat. So I did a program called Semester, and basically you go live on a sailboat for 3 months and take classes. I had the best time ever. Like, going into it, I wasn't sure about how I would feel, but I had a fantastic time. I'm just going to use my Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation with an It Cosmetics brush. So yeah, if you didn't know, I started the trip in the BVI, so the British Virgin Islands, which is in the Caribbean, which isn't that far from where I live right now in Florida. And we ended the trip in Tahiti, so all the way in the Pacific Ocean. I was really far away when we ended the trip. But, so I'm gonna go through like all of the places that we went. We went from the BVI, we went to a couple places in the BVI, like a couple different islands. Honestly, I know we started in Tortola, but after that I get confused about where we went. I know we went to Virgin Gorda and a couple other places, Mountain Point and like stuff like that, but like honestly I don't remember the order. And it was just kind of like we moved like every day and we were in a different place. At least in the beginning, like just like learning how to sail, learning the boat, moving like day trips, like a couple hours of sailing to a different island, like getting us ready for like the longer passages. So after the BVI, we went to Les Saints, which is also in the Caribbean. It's pretty close, only a couple days, but that was cool because everybody there spoke French, and like it wasn't US currency anymore, it was euros, and it was like so different. I'm going to use my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. And then after Les Saints, we went to Dominica, which is still in the Caribbean. But that was so cool. We did a super difficult hike in Dominica. Called the Boiling Lake hike. and it took us like 6 hours and it was like 15 miles. It was ridiculous. And it was pouring rain and we all got wet and cold and it was like so muddy. Like I think I have a picture. I might insert pictures depending on how lazy I am in editing. But yeah. And then we went diving at most of the places, like scuba diving. So on this trip, I had the opportunity to get my dive master certification, which was so rewarding, but it was like one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do. I'm gonna set my face with this Kat Von D powder. So yeah, so I got my dive master certification with a lot of difficulty, but I finished it and I'm just waiting on my, like, the card to come in the mail and everything like that. But yeah, so after Dominica, we went to Bonaire. Bonaire was so cool. The diving there was so beautiful. They have like a protected reef. Would totally go back to Bonaire again. And in Bonaire we learned how to windsurf. That was cool but really hard. Yeah, I had fun, but it was a little difficult. I'm not the greatest at windsurfing, let's just put it that way. And then after Bonaire, we did our longer passage, and we ended up in like in Panama, in Colón, Panama. That was pretty cool. I had never like been in a place like well, let's just start out with, before this trip I had never been out of North America. Like, yeah, I've been to Canada a couple times, I've been to Mexico once, but like once when I was like really little I went to Mexico on a cruise. But basically I've been to United States and Canada. Like, that's basically all I've ever been to. So like this trip was a whole lot of firsts for me, and it was so cool, so rewarding, like to see the other cultures. Like, we went like into towns and like got to see the culture of the place that we were in. It was so cool. Like, that's a horrible word to describe it, but I had so much fun. And then after Cologne, we went through the Panama Canal to Panama City on the other side. I'm going to prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. So, the Panama Canal was amazing. Like, never before this trip would I have been like, oh, I want to travel to the Panama Canal. But going through the Panama Canal is something that I'm probably never ever going to experience again, but I'm so glad that I experienced going through the Panama Canal. Like, just seeing like how the locks work, like pulling in, tying up to the boat next to you, and then like the water rising to like bring you up, or on like going out the other side, like the water going out, was like, I keep saying the word cool, like make it a drinking game. How many times have I said cool? But it was an experience that I'm so glad I did. And I mean, we did one day, the first day we went, it took us like 2 days to get through the Panama Canal, So the first day we went through like the first 3 locks and went up, and then we sailed like a very long way, like an hour and a half, to like Lake Gatun, which is like the big lake in the middle, and then you sail further and you go down the next 3 locks. So like we stayed the night in Lake Gatun, like in the middle of the Panama Canal. And on the way, so like the first day we did the first 3, and on the second day we stayed the night, and then the second day we did the next 3. So the eye look, pause for a second, the eye look I'm going to be doing is going to be with the Pure Visionary palette. Looks like this. And there's not a cream matte shade, so I'm going to take the white from my Pan Matte palette and use that to set my primer. So what was I talking about? Oh, when we were going out, like the second day going down, we were tied next to, like going through the canal with a it was like a tourist boat, like a boat where tourists could come and they like feed you on the boat, and like it's just like to say like, oh, I went through the Panama Canal on a boat. It's like one of those like sightseeing boats, you know, like when you go whale watching and you're just on the boat. It was like really strange, like I didn't know they did that, but it was such a different experience from the people on that boat had such a different experience from us, because we were actual crew on the boat, like listening to because you have to have a pilot on the boat, like somebody that knows what they're doing, like listening to our pilot doing what he's telling us. Like they're just sitting there and relaxing, and we're like doing actual work, which was kind of nice and kind of like, I don't know, every time we would do something, like they would clap and like, I don't know, it kind of was rude, but like they didn't really know better. I'm gonna take the shade Idealist and use that as a transition shade. But yeah, other than like everywhere we went on the boat, people would take pictures of us. Like if we were like docking or like pulling up next to like any tourists or anything, like people would take pictures of us, which was kind of strange. But I think we got used to it by the end. But anyway, after we went, we got to Panama City and like we're in Panama for a couple days. We went to the Galapagos. So it was like a 7-day passage or something from Panama to the Galapagos. And I don't know if you know, but the Galapagos is like a string of islands, and some of them are above the equator and some of them are below the equator. So on our way we went to Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz Island or whatever, Isla de Santa Cruz or something. And we crossed the equator like on our passage at night, like the day before we got there. Which we crossed the day after my birthday. So I was like so hoping we would cross the equator on my birthday, like that would have been so cool. But we crossed the day after my birthday. But we crossed on the my birthday passage, which was pretty cool. I'm gonna take the shade Role Model right here and put that in my crease. But anyway, it's like a big deal to like cross the equator on a boat. So before you cross the equator, you're called a polywog. So a polywog is anybody that has never crossed the equator on a boat, and once you cross the equator, you become a shellback. So you do like a ceremony type thing, where you're supposed to sacrifice something to Neptune. So it's like a tradition where you cross the equator, you shave your head. I did not want to shave my head, so I just let somebody chop like a ton of my hair off. So that's why my hair is short. So I cut my hair on the boat. Got like, it was like really long, and now it's not. So I let my friend cut my hair on the boat, and then I just got it fixed the other day when I got back. So that's why my hair is short. I'm gonna use some glitter glue to put a shimmer on my lid. Like I said, once you cross the equator, you become a shellback. So there's like things in sailing that if you do them, you're eligible to, it's like you earned a tattoo. So crossing the equator is a sea turtle, because you become a shellback. And then there's things like crossing the Atlantic is a anchor, and then every 5,000 miles at sea is a swallow. So like if you do 10,000 miles, you can get 2 swallows. 5,000 miles is 1 swallow. We did 6,606 miles at sea, which was pretty cool. Like that's a lot of miles. So I could have gotten 1 swallow, but I chose to, since I crossed the equator, I chose to get a sea turtle, and I'll show it to you in 1 second after. I'm gonna put Innovator, this light gold shade, on my lid. So I decided to get a sea turtle because I am now a shellback. And a couple of my friends also got sea turtles, but they actually got them in Tahiti before they left to go home, because they stayed a couple days after. I left like the day we were done, like the day the program was over, I went home. But a couple people stayed after. So this is my sea turtle tattoo. Obviously this is like an awkward angle because it's on the back of my arm, but some of you know, like, I have this mermaid here. So I just am adding, like, they kind of match, so I put them on the same arm. So yeah. And then the diving in the Galapagos was so cool. I'm gonna take this purple shade and put that in my outer corner and my crease just to darken it up. So in the Galapagos, the diving, we saw like hammerheads and like schooling hammerheads. So there's like 20 of them. And before this, I haven't even seen a hammerhead diving. Like this, it was like the coolest experience that I've ever had. And then after the Galapagos, we took our long passage. So we were at sea for 19 days, crossing the Pacific from the Galapagos to the Marquesas. And we specifically went to Nuku Hiva. And I loved it in Nuku Hiva. We got to snorkel with manta rays. Like, that's just where they were. There was like a school of like 50 manta rays, and it was like so awesome. I would so totally go back to Nuka-Hiva. And the diving there, it wasn't amazing because obviously, like, we were just in an anchorage and we were like diving in the anchorage. There's like a little point, but like just because there were mantas on our dives, like that was like one of my favorite dive spots. Before this trip I had never seen manta rays, and now that I've seen manta rays, like I don't want to dive without seeing manta rays. Like, they're so cool. And then after Nuka-Hiva, we went to Ahi Atoll, and I'm just gonna bronze with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. We went to Ahi Atoll, and like there wasn't a ton there, but they do like the black pearl farms, and we got to go visit a pearl farm, and that was awesome. And we got to like buy pearls for kind of cheap, so I bought myself a pearl. And it was pretty awesome. And we got a lot of diving done in Ahi Atoll, because like inside the atoll there wasn't a lot of wave action, so it was pretty calm and the visibility was pretty great. So got some training dives done there. And then we went from Ahi Atoll to Moorea, and then from Moorea to Tahiti. So we stopped at a lot of places on this trip, and it was so much fun. I would totally do this trip again. But one thing that I didn't tell you at the beginning of this video was I didn't wear makeup for all 90 days. Like, zero. No makeup at all. I'm gonna use this Tarte blush in Quirky. So basically I felt like I was living a fake life. Like, no makeup, like, it was so strange to like not wear makeup for 90 days, but I had so much fun. I like didn't even care. Like, I brought it with me, but I like didn't even care. So I didn't wear makeup. That means my Pan That palette suffered. So I'm going to film an update for my Pan That palette at the beginning of this next month, but like I said, I didn't wear makeup at all. So I have been wearing it since I've been home, so I have some progress, but like not as much as I should for it being April 26th. Like, it's gonna be May, and there's not a lot of progress. So I'm going to highlight with Becca's Champagne Pop. This is just a mini size. So yeah, that was my trip. I had so much fun, like diving and sailing. Before this trip I knew nothing about sailing, and now like I love sailing. Yeah, we were tired and like nobody would want to get up for a watch, and you'd be like, oh my god, why are you waking me up at 4 a.m? Like, I really don't want to go on watch at 4 a.m. And you'd be like grumpy, but then you'd be like 2 hours into watch and you'd be on like bow watch or something, and you'd like look up and it'd be dark, but you could see all of the stars, and it was so pretty, and like there's nothing else like it. Like, it was pretty amazing. I forgot to put shadow under my eye, so I'm just gonna take that purple shade and run it under my eye. But yeah, I'd totally do it again. It was hard being away from like friends and family for that long, but it wasn't impossible. Like, I didn't have any phone service. So whenever we were at an anchorage or a dock or a port or something, or whenever we were on land, in order to talk to my family, I would have to find Wi-Fi, which was really difficult, honestly. Like, you don't get, like, there's not, like, foreign places, the Wi-Fi is not great. Like, you could find Wi-Fi, but it wouldn't be fast enough to, like, FaceTime them or, like, whatever. So I didn't get to talk to my family all that often, which was kind of hard, but also I feel like on the boat I didn't need my phone. Like, I would forget to, like, I never had my phone charged. Like, I went on land one time and I was like, oh, I have Wi-Fi, let me text Kevin. But, like, my phone was dead because I didn't charge it. I'm just going to use this Essence eyebrow pencil and fill in my brows. So, yeah, like, I felt like I was living a fake life almost. But I think it was an amazing opportunity, and I would so do it again. So now that I'm home, I graduate in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I walk on the stage and get my diploma. So I've been trying to get, like, I've been home for already over a week, but I've been trying to get my life together because in Tahiti, like, that's 6 hours, 6 hour time difference from here. So I've just been catching up on sleep, like unpacking, putting my stuff away, like getting back into, like, living on land and not on a boat. This was just the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. But yeah. But I'm trying to find a job. So right now that I don't have a job, I will probably have a lot of time to film videos for you guys. So hopefully I actually do that and don't just sit around. But I have a couple more things to do around the house. I just wanted to get this filmed and up. I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics Superhero mascara. Okay, so the camera cut off when I was doing my mascara. But I obviously finished the look. So I set my face with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And then I used the Tarte lip paint in Bestie. This is a permanent color, but it's just in fancy holiday packaging. At least I think it's a permanent color. I don't know. It used to be a permanent color. I'm so out of the loop with, like, makeup releases and stuff. Like, I have missed like 3 months of everything. So, like I said, like, no connection to the real world when I'm out at sea. So this is the final look, and I hope you enjoyed hearing all about my trip. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe down below and hit the little bell to get notifications of when I upload videos. And please also leave comments down below of future videos that you'd like to see. Thanks for watching. Bye!